Have you ever wondered what it would be like to manage a duck call company for Phil Robertson's family? Well, stick around. You're about to find out. You're listening to the Dirt School Podcast. I'm your host, Casey Johnson. And if you like hunting, fishing, country stories, and learning lessons from those who live their lives in rural America, you're going to love this podcast. Brought to you by Hunt Real Outdoors. All right, guys, welcome back to the Dirt School Podcast tonight. Got a pretty cool guest on, Mr. Michael Mcvay from Duck Commander. So, Michael, good to have you on tonight, man.
Yeah, you too, Casey, man. I think pretty cool might be a stretch, but we'll see what we can strum up.
I guess to be determined after this podcast, maybe.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, that's right. Well, just for any of the guys, and I always like to do this at the very beginning, any of the guys or gals that might be watching this thing, why don't you just give me a snapshot of who Michael McVay is? Like where you were born, how you were raised, how you got to where you are right now.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. Yeah,
Yeah.
name's Michael McVay. Man, I grew up in West Monroe, Louisiana, literally my entire life. Went to school here and grew up hunting and fishing just like every other kid here, probably. And graduated high school, went to college. I love the outdoors and everything involved with it, and so went into forestry and wildlife, and went through all the schooling there. I went to grad school for just a little bit, and then I
Yeah.
came right back. And man, I've enjoyed just the outdoors and just trying to find an industry, a market industry where I could do that.
Right.
And I've had several opportunities now in my short-lived career to be able to do that. So that's just kind of like the general what if somebody asked me who I was, that's what I'd say. But man, more so digging in a little bit further, man, I'm first and foremost a follower of Christ.
Amen.
Man, I'm a servant of the Most High King, and man, I just love it. I haven't always done that. I've been
Right.
on this journey for since I was 21, so a little over 10 years now, almost 11 years, and man, it's been by far the highlight of my life. It's the purpose of my life, and I just love every second of it. So it's been great.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome, man. Of course, that's one of the reasons why I have you on, or am having you on this podcast is because my podcast is kind of centered around, I don't know, maybe the nostalgia of olden days, but then also hunting and fishing and then faith. I kind of merge those three things together. I don't know if I do that very well, but that's kind of my heart. And so I try to have guys on that are not all of them are followers of Christ, but I like to have a lot of guys on that are followers of Christ and that common bond, that faith bond. And that just kind of permeates everything, in
Oh
my
yeah, that crosses so many boundaries there.
Yeah.
There's all many different kinds of life. Man, you find a follower in Christ anywhere in the world, and you can find a lot of common ground.
100%, 100%. And I know you love hunting because of where you work, but also,
That's
if I'm
right.
not mistaken, you just got back from maybe some turkey traveling turkey hunting. Is that right? I'm a
I
little
did,
jealous about
yeah,
that.
yeah. So elaborate on that a little bit. So I'm the general manager for Duck Commander, and man, it's been a ride. I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
It's exciting. There's something new every single day, and just the opportunities it gives me,
yeah.
not just from a just a personal level, but a spiritual level as well. Has been really awesome. So we did just get back from South Dakota. Some of the guys made a big turkey tour. They went Kansas, Nebraska, and then South Dakota. I just met
Wow.
them for the one state. So,
Yeah.
but man, we had a great time up there. We filled 10 turkey tags while we were there between the whole group. And
Wow.
we did an Indian reservation hunt. That was a little bit different. Man, really enjoyed it. It was great getting to, meet some of the locals up there and things like that. And man, just way different than I expected.
Yeah.
Still had a blast. That was
Yeah.
it was a really good time with the guys.
Now, how does that work? Like being able to go hunt on the Indian reservation? Like, is that land they own, or the government's giving them, and there's so many tags?
Yes.
How does that work?
So it is land they own. If I'm not mistaken, it's a giant area. I think it was 3 million acres was
Wow.
the whole place, right? And then
Yeah.
you have certain areas that there's still some private inholdings throughout and things like that, some city municipalities and such, but it's kind of managed and run by the reservation, by the tribe itself.
Yeah.
I'm going to butcher this, so don't hold it against me, but it's the Ogallala Nation,
Ogallala.
reservation.
Uh-huh.
I can't say it. My tongue just
Well,
won't roll like
you
that.
just say whatever you say with confidence, and people believe it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like Ogallala tribe. You know?
Somebody would call me out on it because
Yeah.
I know several guys that's been out there. They're gonna pick on me a little bit,
Yeah,
but
that's right.
man, it was really good. Going up there, I had no idea what to expect. These communities, they're just not economically booming by
Right.
any sense of the means or whatever, but they live extremely simple lives. They're school teachers, they're bus drivers, they're some sort of postman and things like that, and
Sure.
they live very simple lives. Many of them, we were told, were I think up to 90 or 95% unemployed. So going in
Wow.
there and just eating at the local little taco joint or just at the gas station. Man, the most friendly people that I've met in a minute. They were really, really good people. Simple
Yeah.
lifestyle. It was so cool to see.
Now, do a lot of them hunt too, or do they have just huge tracts of land that they like manage outfitters and stuff like that, or a little bit of both?
Yeah, so the outfitters, we're going to put outfitters in quotes there. The
Okay.
outfitters there are residents of that nation. And
Okay.
so they have to, within that one, I was told, now this is just me reiterating what our guide said, but you have to be 25% in blood or more
Oh wow.
to live within that reservation. And
Wow.
so it's the guides there and everything they're part of that nation there.
Yeah.
And so they do a decent bit of hunting. For as much land as they have, it's not just overwhelming by any means, but
Right.
they do a decent bit of hunting. And their tags work differently. They allot tags specifically for outside non-residents to come into those areas.
Yeah.
Um, but those guys are allotted more tags and cheaper tags as well, so it makes it more affordable for them to live off that land.
Sure.
So
Sure. I would imagine too with the economic situation the way that it is, that hunting guides and outfitters and things like that provides pretty decent income for them, at least during hunting season.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's still. I mean, I don't know. It depends on a lot of people's budget.
Yeah.
Compared to some DIY hunt
Sure.
somewhere else. It's a little more expensive than that. So
Yeah.
it gives, gives back to those guys that's lived out there and hunted their whole life. It
Yeah.
creates another avenue for them to generate some additional income and
Income.
things
Sure.
like that. And they're
Yeah.
very appreciative, very very driven guys that we met out there. And so
Yeah.
extremely helpful. I know one of our guys, Jordan, he got a flat tire while we are out there. And when I mean flat tire, I mean we pulled up to the camp late at night, and it was just oozing, just. Psst. I
Yeah.
mean, it was getting it.
Yeah.
He had a rod about that big
Oh
and about that
goodness.
big around through his tire.
Oh goodness.
And he said, "Hey, before your tire goes flat, load up. We're running in town. We got this shop. We'll take your tire off. We'll do all this." And man, they had him fixed up in no time.
Yeah.
30 minutes or something like that. So,
Yeah.
just really, really good people. Just
That's
giving
cool.
people. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. My I know who you're talking about when you say Jordan. Uh, my dealings with Jordan, I really don't have dealings with Jordan, but my experience with Jordan years ago, the first time I ever heard Jordan's name, my son comes home and he says, "Dad, I just got a message from a dude that said he works at Duck Commander and he wants me to talk to him about videoing their hunts." And he said, "Do you think that's fake?" And he's like, "I never talked to this guy before." So, and it really was Jordan. And they were
Yeah.
looking for a camera guy. And of course, which Hunter now, they called Hunter and was like, we'd like to meet with you, and it was such a cool story the way that happened because they just saw some of his pictures and different things on, I think maybe Simmons Sporting Goods social
Yeah.
media stuff or something, and he gave him a call. Of course, he ended up going to work there for a couple years and still does a little bit of
Yeah,
freelance
he
type
still
stuff.
runs a
Yeah.
camera for us. We
Yeah.
love bringing him in for hunts. Hunter's
Yeah.
been great. I literally talked to him about him at the office today.
Oh, really?
He's been a great help to us and
Yeah.
getting some of our in season content.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty good at that stuff. He's pretty fast, and but that was the first time I ever heard of Jordan. Okay, let me backtrack just a minute.
Hmm.
Uh, let's go back to I know you're the general manager of Duck Commander, which is a job that Martin had for a long time. So
That's right.
how did you get to the place to where you became general manager of Duck Commander? How did that transpire?
Yeah, so man, so before this, I worked for Ducks Unlimited. I was a regional biologist for them for 7 years.
Okay.
Loved my time at DU. It was great. Working with conservation lands programs, public lands programs, a lot of grant writing and things like that. It was a lot of fun. That's what I went to school for. But man,
Right.
I just wanted to go and just make and kind of build, just do something different. And Jeffrey Kent, who is our COO at Duck Commander, is a good friend of ours. And was talking with him one day. I was like, man, like, I don't, I was telling him the same things. I want to go build and make something. I just want to go do something. And he's like, man, let's go have coffee. I said, all right. So we have coffee and we're just talking. And he's like, man, I have no idea what you can do. He's like, I believe in you. I
Yeah.
don't know what you can do professionally, but I said, man, I might have something for you. I was like, yeah, you think so? And and we get to talking for a little bit and go visit with Willie for a while. And next thing I know, Martin is transitioning at this point into this brand director's role
Sure.
within the company. And so he did that for a while. And so that left kind of a gap within kind of the leadership team that they were trying to build there. And they thought I was a good fit for it. And Willie kind of said the same thing. He's like, man, I don't really know what you can do professionally, but man, your reputation as a person is great. So, man,
Yeah.
love bringing you in. He's all about finding good people and just finding the right spot for them.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
man, I'm super grateful that with this opportunity, I don't think that's going to come up too often. So I just try to take every day like it's a gift, and
Yeah.
that's how I approach work.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome. When you think about that, I mean, such a good perspective to have to the degree that you find good people that have a good work ethic, and if they can comprehend, you they can pretty much do anything you need them to do.
right, that's
They just
right.
get in there and start, okay, this is how you do that. This is how you do that. Of course, there's always a learning curve, I'm sure, and I'm sure it was for
Mm,
you as well. Uh,
absolutely.
but if you work hard and you can, I tell people all the time in the ministry because I'm a pastor, so it's like, look, as long as you can continue learning, if you just continue learning and you got a good work ethic, hey, you can do whatever you can do whatever you want to do, really,
Yeah, and
and
I think I even told Jeffrey that. He's like, man, I don't like, what's some of your skill set? And I've talked about the things I do and I've learned and I'm good at. I said, but man, I feel like if I just really work, I may have to work harder in some areas than others, but
sure,
man, I feel like I can just do anything. Like, I don't know what that looks like. Maybe it's a toxic trait of
yeah,
myself and it might get me in a bind one day,
yeah,
but I feel like I can go out there and do anything. I can go just conquer.
yeah, yeah,
Just as long as it's in God's will and that's in the
yeah,
plans for Him in my life, then I'm just going to go for it. I'm
yeah.
going
I
to see
tell
what happens.
I tell people all the time, I'd rather have to pull people back than have to try to kick them forward to
Right.
do something. You know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
like be driven and have that confidence, and we can pull you back if we need to a little bit, but just be ready to go. So
That's
so I
right.
guess that would lead me into this particular question, I suppose. What is it like for you coming into an already well-established company that has a reputation of certain things, certain calls, certain ways? What is it like for you coming into that and trying to move that into another level? And what are you
Yeah.
doing? What are some things y'all are thinking about that help it reach the next level?
No, I think that's a very fair and great question. I think one of the things, my personal skill set that I bring to the table, I think it's just the organization and management. It's really the people side of it. I love people. I love investing into people. So just building that team up and just getting that motivated and moving. I think that was one of my first initiatives when I came in. I said, I just want to pour into these guys, learn about the company as much as I possibly can, and just pour into those guys, the frontline guys specifically.
Yeah.
And then from there, let's see if there's any missing opportunities. Is there anything that we can build off of? Is there anything that we can improve? I'm not talking about the individual call itself, but maybe it's the systems within the company, whatever that looks like. As time went on, you start bringing in some different perspectives, different just ideas, whatever that looks like. And this company is run more than successful enough without Michael McVay in that
Right.
office.
Yeah.
But it's just creating some new, just creative ideas, just coming to the table and saying, "Hey, have we tried this? Or if we did, when did we do that? And what was the result of it? Was that a temporary result? Was that long term? Was it just not the right time for it? Whatever that looks like. And I think with even with Jeffrey's the COO, like I mentioned. He's only been there, I think, about 3 years, maybe not quite four, somewhere in that ballpark. So we've got some new guys in here, just trying to stir up some creativity and just new ways of thinking, while also maintaining the legacy that Phil had built.
Yeah.
So I just that's my approach, is maintaining the legacy that Duck Commander has built over time, and just try to create some new avenues and new creative ways just to target new audiences, because new generations come up.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of the Duck Dynasty children that
Right.
was in the middle of watching that. Now they're old enough to hunt. They're
Yeah.
old enough to go off and be their own adult selves.
Yeah.
And so, how do we capture that market as well? How do we get their attention? How do we steward those relationships correctly?
Yeah.
And how can we be a positive impact in their, not only their childhood, Duck Dynasty, but their adult life as well?
Sure. Do they seem to be, because I know they are in the middle of I mean, I'm assuming they're in the middle of all the filming of the Duck Dynasty revival. Is that almost over, the filming of that, or are they still neck deep
Yeah,
in
so
that?
we just finished season two,
Yeah.
the live release of those, and so that
Yeah.
the last episode was Saturday,
Yeah.
and then it'll be a couple of months. It slipped my mind. I don't know when the release is for the Hulu, which will release that whole season,
Yeah.
and so. If I'm not mistaken, they're in the middle of talks about extending it. What does that look like,
Yeah.
and things like that. So we have two full seasons
Yeah.
that will be released by the end of summer,
Yeah.
and then we'll just go from there. We're just taking it by stride and see what that looks like.
Well, do the kids really seem to embrace uh everything that encompasses? I mean, do all of them seem to be like just bought into all of that? I mean, well, you got 2 seasons in now, so probably so,
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah, they understand. To me, this is Michael McVay's perspective,
Sure.
but I'm close enough with a little bit of the family that it just seems like they understand the importance of carrying on that legacy that Phil
Yeah.
built, and that Willie and the rest of the sons have steward and help cultivate that same legacy that Phil built, and create new avenues. And then it was a great way. Duck Dynasty was so good at providing something completely different to a targeted audience, a massive audience at that, just to be able to spread a little bit of Jesus, just a little
Right.
bit, just to show them something as simple as praying at a table at the end of every episode. Like,
Hmm.
something as simple as that. Just get something stirring in someone's mind, rather than a lot of the garbage we get on TV today. And
Right.
so they understood the impact of that, and they're like, how can we continue that? And so that's kind of, this show is just highlighting that same thing. We're getting some great response. I check the Instagram messages and things like
Yeah.
that come in, or Facebook comments and stuff. And you got to filter through. Social media is a
Oh,
madhouse itself,
oh, of
but
course. Yeah.
I mean, but looking through some of that stuff, it's really encouraging to see the positivity that's grown from that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Look, I remember when the Duck Dynasty, the original, came out, and I was doing a lot of traveling before I became a pastor. I did a lot of traveling vocationally, preaching revivals and stuff. I was a
Mhm.
vocational evangelist, and so I still travel a good bit. And when all of that was transpiring, man, I mean, it was every state I went to, they were like, "Where are you from?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm from Crowville, Louisiana, or I live in Crowville, or I live in Bastrop, Louisiana." Well, nobody knows where that's at. So I'm like, "Well, you
Right,
ever heard of Monroe, Louisiana? Oh, that's Duck Dynasty. That's Phil Robertson now." I mean, it was just all the time. So
right,
yeah, it definitely caught fire, across the nation, really, and not just locally. So,
right.
pretty cool
And
deal.
then being in the company, even talking with some industry guys today that are my age, they're like, "Man, you have no idea the impact Phil had on me." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Well, tell me a little bit more about that." Well, one time he was in this location at this show. He had a white table sitting there with a few duck calls on it, and man, he spoke to me like I meant everything in the world. He said this one word, or this one something, man, that stuck with me forever. It had me thinking more about what my life looks like, or what I want it to look like. And it's just countless stories, one after another, of Phil's impact. And then I get the same thing. I get to travel with Willie. a little bit, and I get to hear the same things,
Yeah.
or I get to even see it in action sometimes of just
Yeah.
Willie just sitting on the plane next to someone, just talking Bible with someone, because they have a question, they are comfortable asking Willie that, and
Yeah.
so
Right. Right.
it's
Yeah.
it's really cool to see some of those stories really unfold in front of you now, and
Yeah.
and it's really cool. I'm just a fly on the wall
Right.
mostly, but
Yeah.
it's really encouraging to get to watch that.
Yeah. Well, I've kind of kept up with Troy Ruiz over the years. He used to be with Primos for a long time, and I talk to Troy on the phone every now and then, and that's a huge part. Phil is a huge part of his salvation experience. I mean, he
Really,
led him to the Lord in the duck blind.
I
Yeah,
didn't, I
and
didn't, I
and
didn't
he
know
tells
that.
that story. Phil led him to the Lord in the duck blind. Sure did, and he
It,
talks
it
about that
Phil
all the time.
is Phil is so unapologetically direct, and
Yeah.
never it was never like mean or anything. It was just so like, this is what it is.
Yeah.
You can accept it or not. I mean,
Yeah.
it's I
My son,
love it.
my son Hunter told me whenever he first went to film for them, he said, first thing Phil ever said to me, he said, "Well, cameraman, what do you think about Jesus?" That's the first thing he said to him. What do you think about Jesus? So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, so with that said, I guess, obviously, if anybody's watched any of that long enough, then they know that, Phil was very adamant about talking about Jesus and sharing his faith. And what is it like for you to manage the company? Well, let me ask you this question first before I go there, just so that I can be clear on all of this. So you have Duck Dynasty, you have Duck Commander, you have Buck Commander, and you have Struck Commander. Like, how does all of that work with what you do? Are you just the Duck Commander, or do you have your hand in all of those things?
Yeah, that's a very fair question. So we have even more companies than that under this roof,
Oh
including
wow.
with Sadie's,
Oh yeah.
Live Original, and
Yeah.
all these other avenues. So for me specifically, I manage Duck Commander operations, and under that umbrella, Strut Commander and Fin Commander also are under
Also.
it.
Okay. All
So
right.
that's my lane specifically.
Okay. All right.
Of course, we cross pollinate. We
Sure.
work as a really close knit team there, but
Yeah.
that is my lane. Right?
Yeah.
That's where I am.
Yeah, every now and then you gotta say, okay, I'm gonna get back in my lane.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Okay, so with that in mind, then I know you're in the building all the time. How do you maintain, or what is it like to maintain that culture that feels set, even in the warehouse, even in the business, from the day to day of being faith driven?
hmm
Is
Yeah,
there
that's a
specific things y'all talk about and do to make sure that it stays up? I know that's your life and that's who y'all are, but
mhm.
how does that translate into the company side of things?
No, that's great. Well, like we have one thing that Jeffrey started here recently, and this is fresh on my mind. Is the reason I'm bringing it up first is that on Thursday mornings at Duck Commander, it's open to the public for men. We have a Bible study there. We're going through Matthew, little chunks at a time.
Yeah.
We might, I don't know, we'll probably spend a year in Matthew by the time it's said and done with. But
And it's a men's
um,
Bible, men's
it's
Bible
a
study?
men's Bible study.
Nice.
Men's
Yeah.
Bible study open to the public. So if you're local, man, come check us out.
Cool.
We've got probably 35 dudes in there right now. We sit at white tables. Jeffrey brings a word, have a small discussion within our tables afterwards, and he prays us out. We have a moment. If anybody has any prayer needs, we pray for one another while we're there. So just the environment of hosting the Holy Spirit there is
Yeah.
very evident
Yeah.
just with that one example.
Yeah.
Um, I love when a special guest comes through and I get to speak with it, may be a sick child, who me and you just talked about. I got to visit with a sick child's father, and I got to pray with him over the phone just a little bit ago. Just because of my position within Duck Commander, their email happened to come through my chain. I got to visit with him, talk with him. Man, I think he poured into me more than I even got to pour
Yeah.
into him. So
Yeah.
it's just the opportunities are so evident at Duck Commander and related companies, that it's so easy just to be exposed to that. And I don't know if there's another place where you can get that specifically, where moments come to you, you don't have to look for them.
Right.
So just because we have a building there, I don't know if it's the name, I don't know if it's what it is, but you don't have to look very far to see Jesus move. in that
Yeah.
building.
Yeah.
And we try to steward that correctly. We try to make sure that we pray without ceasing and everything, whether big decisions come on up, whether it's for our team members. I've got guys within my office or within our warehouse that I pour into daily. Even on weekends, I check on them, I call on them. We talk, we talk scripture, and we talk Bible, we talk Jesus. Period.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's great to just pour in with those guys. I remember here, I think it was last week, or well, it must have been 2 weeks ago. I was sitting there and we were talking about fruits of the spirit, and I forgot what it was. I said, "Hey, JT is he's very knowledgeable in scripture." And I said, "Hey, does it mention anywhere in the Bible this?" And I forgot what it even was. And he said, "Well, if you look in Luke, it's right here." And he said, "Hold on just a second." And he pulls his Bible from the table that was over next to him. It's just there.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Let me check on that real quick." And he gets to dig, and he's like, "Yeah, yeah, it's here too." And I was like, "Okay, that's what I was looking for." So it's so good just to be able to bounce off back and forth. I've been visiting with Jeffrey here lately, trying to just hone in on a good methods and good ways to share the gospel. That's what I've been
Sure.
focusing on lately.
Yeah.
Sharing the gospel, teaching the gospel to others.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been focused on lately. And so I can literally walk out of my office door, turn the corner, and he's right there.
Yeah.
And I said, "Hey Jeffrey, help me with this real quick." And he's like, "Well, here." And he's always developing messages. Willie's always developing messages.
Yeah.
Jace, he told me, if and I don't want to speak for him, I'm almost positive he told me he spends 3 to 4 hours a day studying for
Yeah.
his podcast because
Right.
he takes it so it's so important to him. He takes it
Yeah.
so seriously in a study. So
Yeah.
being around that, it's just going to come up in conversation. I mean,
Sure.
it's so easy to do that, and my heart goes out to guys that are in some sort of work environment, maybe some office, maybe some meal, it may be whatever it may be, and they really want to steward that environment and that culture within their guys as well. And it may just not be as easy for them. And I
Sure.
get that because I came from a different office and that wasn't so readily available. But
Right.
man, it's just I'm so grateful to be where everywhere I turn, I can find a resource to Jesus. I mean, it's just sitting there right in front of me.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and we talk about that all the time. Of course, pastoring and preaching, I'm constantly trying to tell people, one of the things that we've mentioned before is there's a and it's for businesses to steward the best they can the gospel within their
Mm-hmm.
businesses. And there's a plumbing company over in Farmville. And they do it so well. It's Burns Mechanical. I don't know if you ever heard of
Mm-hmm.
that. But
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Burns Mechanical will have a deal. Matter of fact, I think Jace has spoken there. I've spoken there. Jace has spoken there before. But
Okay.
he'll do like once every 3 months. He'll just gather all of his. He'll invite men to come in. He'll gather all of his contractors and people like that. And it'll be maybe like 80 guys will show up and he'll feed them fish or shrimp or something like that. Somebody will come in and speak and share the gospel and stuff. It is awesome, man. And it's just it's one of them things where you go, man, I wish every business owner would do something like that. Which obviously I know they have to be a Christian, but or every person, even in a work environment, would try to figure out how to leverage just a little bit of opportunity. I mean, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Even if it's on a lunch break or something like that. But I don't know. It's just a lot of power in that when it's not at a like people look at me and go, "Well, yeah, you work at the church every day." I mean,
Yeah.
like everybody you work with is a Christian. I mean, it's a churchy environment.
Right.
But it can be done out in the secular world as well if a person is a follower of Christ and just takes the opportunity to try to build that in. And so I don't know. And you seem to see a little bit more of that these days, it seems like to me,
Absolutely.
you know, which
Hmm.
is a good
Yeah,
thing.
I've got friends at the mill, oversees a large workforce there, and
Yeah.
he's created a really healthy environment there,
Yeah.
doing that very same thing. I've got a very recent friend I met through some of our retreat ministries, and he's doing the
Yeah.
same thing at the police department here. And
Yeah.
so you can find bits and pieces of that. We've got several faithful church members that I go to church with. They own their own businesses. Their businesses are completely surrounded with the foundation on faith. And
Sure.
so it's really cool to see. If you look for it, it's very easy to find some of those businesses out there. But you're right, man. I just wish that some of these business owners would just, I don't know. I think a lot of the anxieties and stress with running a business and making these tough decisions and the repercussions of those decisions, man. I think if you put God at the forefront, I think all that just takes care of itself. I think Duck Commander is a testament of that, and I think a lot of these other businesses are most certainly a testament of that. Seen significant growth with these companies that have kind of neglected that bottom line as long as it benefited Jesus Christ
Yeah.
and the kingdom,
Yeah.
and they're flourishing. Things just work
Yeah.
differently when you honor the Father first.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, man, that's all we're gonna have left whenever we
Yeah.
leave this world.
Ain't
What
that the
what
truth?
what did I do for Jesus? That's all that's
Uh,
gonna matter, you know. I mean, I know we got to have finances and we've got to to survive and things like that, but I just spoke at a baccalaureate service for the private school here in our town, Prairie View, and I saw years ago Francis Chan. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but Francis Chan
mhm.
used an illustration like he had a long rope, and then on the rope he had like a piece of red tape on the end, and then like probably 6 inches out, he had another piece of red tape, and he said, "This is your life. This is your life right here." And then the rest of the rope, and it was just curled up way out there. He said that's eternity, and you've got this long to live. But while you're living this particular amount of time, and the average person, I mean, the Bible talks about 70 years, and if you're really blessed, 80. And it's just the idea of not necessarily the exact years, but its brevity. Our life is
Yeah.
not very long. And so I was just telling them, I said, what you do between here, I said, it matters who you are more than what you do. And then it matters whose you are more than, what you do. Because whose you are is going to make a difference on that eternity side. And
Right.
so we can do all of these great things and stuff, and we should, because I believe in working hard and striving to be the best that we can be in everything that we do. I'm a firm believer in excellence. But ultimately, at the end of the day, what did I do with Jesus? That's what
Yeah.
matters most,
Right.
you know? So I got to get that right, and I want other people to get that right, and so one of the things that I think about as far as sharing the gospel, very easy way, I just years ago come up with this is just, telling somebody, hey, can I tell you the greatest things ever happened to me? And well, what person is going to say, nah, I don't want to hear it?
Yeah.
Well, most people are going to say, yeah, sure. And then you say, for me, it would be like, one night in a revival service in Rayville, Louisiana, a guy was talking about Jesus, and I realized that I was a sinner and was separated from God because of my sin. But Jesus came to die for me. And he was
Uh,
buried and raised from the dead. And I gave my life to him, and I've never been the same since. Is that simple? And then go, uh, have you ever had an experience like that? Well, if they say no, then why not? Is there any reason why you wouldn't want to have an experience like that? Or if they say yes, well, then you say, awesome, tell me about it. Well, then either way, you're getting into a gospel conversation, you know,
mhm.
and that's just in casual conversation. You can do something like that. So you were talking about a little bit earlier about studying
Yeah.
ways to share the gospel with people. So there you go. That's a simple way.
Yeah. I love taking this approach where I get to listen to people so intently that I
Mhm.
find where I find either like life experiences, spiritual
Yes.
experience, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
And typically what I see mostly are guys that refer to, I'm trying to do this better. I'm trying to do this better. I'm trying to read my Bible. I'm trying to go to church more, but man, I just hadn't in a while, but I'm going to get back into it or I'm going to do this. It's a lot of things they want to do,
Do.
not who they are
Mhm.
or who they don't, not once do they mention Jesus Christ
Right.
in any of that. And so I point that out to them, man, you told me all about yourself and you told me things you want to do. And man, you didn't mention Jesus. Do you have a relationship with Jesus? What does that look like? And a
Mhm.
lot of guys like, they keep mentioning this gray area, right? Oh,
Yeah.
well, I'm kind of doing this, I'm
Yeah.
kind of doing
Yeah.
this. And I'm like, man, like a relationship with Jesus, so black and white. And once you enter into that relationship, you'll know exactly what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
And it
And
changes
so
everything.
it changes everything. And so I get to talk with them about that. Like, well, what does that look like? And
Yeah.
and I've got some scripture in my pocket. I'll kind of pull out, and that way I
Yeah.
can kind of walk them through that, just to get their wheels turning. But I more ask questions than I ever do anything. I get them to realize where
That's
they
right.
are,
Right.
because I'm never in a position to judge someone
Sure.
about where they are with Jesus, their past history, whatever that looks like. I'm a nobody. That's for him, that person and God to know. And so I'm going to
Yeah.
just ask them enough questions to get them to analyze that and gain their trust and conversation so they can be
Yeah.
truthful with me and just see where that goes.
Yeah.
That's kind of been my path lately, and I've,
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed it. It's
Yeah.
it's been it's been great.
There's an old evangelist friend. He's gone to be with the Lord now, but he used to always say, talking about telling people about Jesus, he said, "Look now," he said, "I ain't no salesman." He said, "I'm a satisfied customer." So,
I'm
so
gonna have to use that one.
yeah, I
That's
ain't a
that's
salesman
good.
for Jesus. I'm a
Yeah.
satisfied customer, son. But I guess that goes back into talking about the culture there at Duck Commander, working in that environment, and it's just everywhere you turn around, like, he had a Bible over here, or you're doing a Bible study there. When that's who the people are, then it just comes out. You know what I
Right.
mean? And that's,
Hmm.
y'all's company is filled with people who love Jesus, and it just comes out. It's gonna come
That's
out,
right.
you know?
Yeah, and it's so easy to be that person in an environment surrounded by like-minded men and women.
Yeah,
It's so easy to let's say, for example, if I'm surrounded by guys that aren't living that lifestyle, and my mind can get clouded with some of the same conversations or same thoughts or same tendencies. Maybe it's anger or whatever that may be.
right,
But just being in an environment where it's safe and even encouraged to live faithfully like that, it becomes easier to do.
sure,
It becomes more natural at that point.
right, right, yeah. Man, that's awesome, dude. I mean, it's that company's just, I don't know, man. It's just something about it. It's special. Phil was special. Now, were you there? And if you were there, what was it like walking through that process as a company and with the family and things like that when Phil passed? Were you there
And
then?
I was there.
Yeah.
I came on maybe March 3rd of 25. So I was there, maybe 2 months
Yeah.
before Phil had passed. So I'm still kind of an outsider at that
Sure.
point.
Right.
I'm still so new. But I got to go to the funeral and see to and this I hope this is taken the right way, to see the family's reaction around the whole thing was the most awesome experience. It was
Yeah.
incredible. It's hugs and it's love and it's laughter and it's stories, and man, it was so encouraging to
Yeah.
see a faith-filled family like that, to celebrate their loved one going to heaven to meet in the
Yeah.
arms of Jesus.
Yeah.
It was so cool. And I got to attend the funeral, and it's filled with stories, and in the stories there's laughter, there's banter between family members while they're talking. I mean, it was a legitimate celebration. And I've never seen a funeral come close to that. I mean, just the whole mood of the whole environment was so faith filled. It was contagious. It was
Yeah.
great.
That's awesome, man. I mean, it's
It's
not a
really
whole lot of
nice.
people can really say that,
Hmm.
I mean, and that to me, that just speaks of the great confidence that they had in Phil's faith in Jesus. Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah, no
Yeah. It
question,
was
no doubt.
so obvious. I mean,
Yeah,
it's the whole family. The whole family, like the leg, like everybody thinks the legacy Duck Commander hunting, the grittiness, the kind of the I don't know, the route back to duck hunting, but man, like it's so much more than that. The
yeah,
legacy of Phil Robertson is so much bigger than just duck hunting.
yeah,
Man, the faith-filled legacy that he left for his kids and his grandkids are doing incredible, and they're walking this thing out. And now, the great grandkids are coming along as well. Like the family is so encouraging to be around.
yeah,
And it motivates me and my walk and with my family. And I'm like, man, I hope I cultivate something at all like this. I mean,
right.
I'd be doing pretty good at
Yeah,
that rate. So, when you've got Al preaches, and Willie's always speaking in all these places, and Jace has this very successful podcast, Spread the Gospel. I mean, just all these different avenues. Sadie with Live Original, and just all these all the family members going out and in their own ways spreading the gospel. Like
Yeah.
it's really cool to see. They're
Yeah, well, I
powerhouse.
mean, I would think because with the Duck Dynasty came obviously major notoriety for them,
Mhm.
to the degree that even like what we would call, I mean, famous people, are even showing up in Monroe to meet them or to be at the Duck Commander business or whatever. So, what is it like to be in that kind of environment to where you either travel with Willie and you go see some of those people, or those people are at the office from time to time doing certain things? What's that like?
Like as far as like
Well,
let
like
me
people who are famous people, like around and
yeah
about, even though you're working for famous people. If and I don't know
yeah
that I want to. I'm not trying to. I mean, I'm not trying to. This cord's driving me nuts, but I'm not trying to like. I don't know. It's not a fanboy kind of situation deal, but I mean, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like they met President Trump, and I mean, they meet all kinds of famous people.
right.
Are you ever around any of that when that transpires? And what's that like for
And
you if it is?
definitely not near the president by any means,
Yeah,
but
right, right. Yeah,
on occasion, somebody comes in for a podcast or something
yeah,
like that, or when I'm traveling with Willie, I get to meet individuals that are, I would assume, a celebrity status,
yeah,
and it's cool. But how casual it is when it happens, like it really just brings it down to a level playing field.
yeah,
They're just normal people that have done something successful to put them in an area to uh, create that sort of social status of sense or whatever. But you get to meet these guys and very level headed and just another guy, which is super encouraging for me.
sure.
I don't know, it could feel intimidating and things like that, but at the end of the day, like we're all just people,
Yeah,
but it
and I
is
guess
fun.
and I
It
guess
is
that's my
fun if
my
that's what you're looking for.
yeah. Well,
It's
my
really cool.
my mindset would be, does it, like you just answered it right there? Like, does it intimidate you, or does it like, oh, that's pretty cool? I got to meet so and so or whatever. Because I could see where that would be kind of, it could be kind of intimidating, or it could be also like, oh, dude, this is like the time of my life meeting some of these people. But then at the back of the mind, they're just people like I am, you know.
That's right.
They just
Yeah.
happened to do something really well that made them successful. Um,
Yeah, and I think celebrity status is different for everybody too.
yeah,
Like who you may see as some celebrity status, I may not even know who they are, and so
yeah,
that wouldn't bother me or whatever. So I think that's relative from person to person as
sure.
well. So the
100%.
intimidation factor or whatever that may be,
Yeah,
that would probably vary from person to person as well. But no,
yeah,
I've never caught myself in a position where it felt like overwhelming or
sure.
intimidating or anything like that. And typically those guys are very inviting and very
Yeah,
warm and
yeah.
love to visit with you. So
No, no, I'm going to stay in the corner over here. Moments. Yeah, yeah. I'm just going to get
that's
out of
more
the
like
way.
me. I
Yeah,
don't want to bother anybody or anything
yeah,
like that. I'm not racing an opportunity to go speak to
sure,
someone. Just I'm very conservative in my approach to people
sure.
for the most
Yeah,
part. Of like, I don't want to bug anybody or
yeah,
anything like that. And
yeah,
I love visiting with people. I love talking with people. It's one
sure.
of my favorite things to do. But
Yeah,
I'm definitely never going to put myself in a position where I think I'm bothering somebody.
right.
So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
my approach.
I got you. I got you. All right. Well, do you guys have any, as far as Duck Commander's concerned, do you have any like new calls or anything on the horizon? Any things you're thinking about, or?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. I
Yeah,
didn't know
come
if that was
on.
going to come up or not. So,
Yeah.
here at NWTF this year, we released our cut down series.
Nice.
We're not getting rid of anything. We're keeping our like staple line that we've had, but
Sure.
this is to just capture an audience that was just looking for something a little bit different.
Right.
You've got callers out there that want a little more horsepower out of a call because they may hunt public land around other hunters and they're used to a louder call, one that really pops. And so we wanted to provide a product for those guys and enter into that market. And we had an opportunity to do such, and we did at NWTF. So we released two cut down calls. One is a commander cut, and another is the Reaper cut. And so that's just the names of those two cut down calls. But
Sure.
we have another one coming up. I think it's words kind of out. I mean, we can talk about it, but we've got another one that's getting released at Ducks Expo. That's Ducks Unlimited's trade show in Memphis, July 28th through August 1st. I believe that's the dates for that. So we're going to release that there as well. And I think the Duck Commander, uh, the Duck Commander customer is really going to like that one.
Yeah.
A little, even more so than the other ones. So we're
Okay.
really excited about it.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
That sounds like exciting things happening.
There's always ideas.
Yeah.
We just timing and how much work we want to put on ourselves is really what determines what I'll release and when we release it. But we're kind of wide open as a company right now on just like products and what we offer to customers. And well, of course, we try to listen to the customer and just see what those guys want, while also just maintaining the integrity of the company itself. But
Sure.
um, we're just kind of offering, just a little something different just to capture a different market. And I think the response has been great. It's a fantastic call. I ran the Commander cut this last year. That's about all I used this
Yeah.
last year, just really putting it through the ringer. Several other guys, we got it into some other people's hands as well, to try out. And so they seem to really enjoy it, and so we've got great feedback from those calls, and we'll continue on and develop that line, different colors and
Yeah.
different cuts and different just you know that way we can somebody's looking for something just a little bit different. We
Yeah.
like to provide them with that option
Well,
if
just kind of
possible. So
broaden your
that's right.
reach there. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, we've got
Which
some
is
new accessories and stuff coming out.
yeah.
We're constantly seasonally coming out with new apparel and things like that. So, anybody interested, you can check our website out for those, or
Yeah.
just social media as well. We've been very active on social media,
Yeah.
and then our content. We really pushed on our content this year. Got a decent backlog to be able to get some more content out as well. So,
Yeah.
did a little bit of traveling. Just as well as I do the struggles that our local hunters faced, especially this early season with
Hmm.
the drought that we had. I mean, it was we had almost no water on the Robertson property the entire first split into the second split.
Wow.
It was rough. The
Yeah.
river's the lowest I've ever seen it.
Yeah.
Um, so did a little bit of traveling this year, made it work. Waited for rains and some colder weather to come in.
Yeah.
That panned out really good. We had some great hunts there at the end of the year, and wound up a pretty decent season for the most part. So we had a lot of fun. So great content, kind of on the horizon there,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we'll keep pushing the envelope there as far as our content is concerned. And
Yeah. And that's what
hopefully
I was
Hunter
gonna.
can help us out a little bit
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. I know he enjoys doing that stuff, but he does a really good job at that stuff, man. He's gifted to be able to just, I don't know, he can almost see it before he sees it, you know. But
Mhm.
he's good at that stuff. So that's something that y'all will just keep keep pushing the, like you said, pushing the envelope on your content creation. That's something that even in the
Mhm.
future y'all just keep at it more and more and more. I know
That's
y'all
right. Yeah.
looking for another camera guy too, huh? Full time. Is that still
Yeah,
happening?
we actually did just we posted we wanted some internal help from
Yeah,
for Duck Commander, and of course we'll still use some more guys, especially
sure.
as groups divide and we travel and things like that. But we want to bring somebody in house, one to kind of really immerse that person into the culture of that office,
Sure.
and then two, we've got just a lot of projects. There's a lot of a lot of the different companies there that just we've got a lot of projects going on. So
Yeah.
we're looking for someone to be in house. So I know a lot of guys, especially in the production world, they like to work remotely and things like that, and I get
Yeah.
it, but it's just different. It's just if I worked for Duck Commander but somewhere else, it just wouldn't be the same.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so we want to bring somebody here to let them just immerse themselves into the experience and into the culture that Duck Commander provides, grow as part of the team, and
Yeah.
just really get their feet up under them a lot quicker. So
Yeah.
that's what we're
No.
looking for.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of value to that to have them. Yeah. I'm like you. I know I got a lot of, especially a lot of younger people. And which I mean, you're young to me. I mean, I'm 20 years older than you, bro. But so you're still a young man. But a lot of young people are used to working remotely. But to me, there's just something to be said about being in an office with people, like you
Mhm.
said, and understanding who they are, how they function. I don't know. It it seems to make you understand it better, I guess. So
That's right.
yeah. Another question. I'm not going to keep you much longer, but I know it used to be to where like the turkey side of everything was almost like I think back in the day they would say that's kind of the gift for the cameramen to be able to do the strut commander. But obviously that has maybe broadened out a little bit more. So are there any other like big plans for that as well, or is that just kind of a part of, just
Yeah.
a
So we're
side job?
well, I mean, that's maybe how it started off. It's
Yeah,
just something to tailor into a different crowd. That way, it's not so fall and winter heavy.
yeah,
But man, like the Strut Commander has so much potential because you've got the guys that have the passion for it, like
yeah.
Jordan Summit that we
Jordan
mentioned
got it.
earlier,
Yeah,
and then we've got Jacob Mayo there as well, and
yeah,
then Parker and myself and Sack and all these guys. I mean, they're very passionate guys about what they do, and so we're like, why not? Let's really push this thing. Let's kind of go back to the drawing board a little bit. And so we're going to revamp a few things this off season. We're really excited about that. There'll be more coming out on that later this summer. And just really diving into the production side of it. We've taken quite a few trips this year, and some of them were a little bit later than we really wanted to dig in on. With the Kansas, Nebraska, and South Dakota that I just mentioned. We're going to Washington next week
oh wow,
as well. Maybe dip into Idaho if Lord willing.
yeah,
But we've got a lot of content coming up because we got guys that we just like to do it anyway. So we're gonna shoot the content while we're doing it, but
yeah,
also just to really just drive this company to make it what we know that we could,
yeah,
and just really pour into it some more. Strike Commander's doing well.
yeah,
We really just want to just push the bar some more, just to like
sure,
really drive product, make a better quality product, and just better marketing and just kind of revamp this thing a little
yeah,
bit and just get it going. So we're excited.
yeah.
A lot of excitement around that, and we're coming off of turkey season, so it's been fresh on our mind. So
You're
maybe
right.
that's why I'm
Yeah,
so giddy about it.
everybody
But
run around the office.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, and
Yeah,
so we'll come out with some new kind of, I guess, just revamp the product lines themselves probably this off season, and
yeah,
just provide something a little bit different to that customer just looking for something. So the maybe the most difficult part of Strut Commander is the brand recognition, just letting people know that Strut Commander is a part of Duck Commander,
right.
and just creating just bridging the gap between those two. So
Yeah,
that's what we're really working on there,
yeah,
letting people know that we're there, that we're excited. Customer service is the same customer service, and the passion is the same passion that built Duck Commander what it is today. So
well, and
we're gonna keep digging in.
I think maybe, and just from listening to you talk, maybe really that's all it's needed is maybe a couple more guys that are, passionate about doing it. But maybe what it needed is just someone like yourself, fresh, to come in and go, "Hey, I got another perspective about this. Let's push the envelope here and let's make something out of this thing even better than what it is." Do you think that that's the idea?
I'd like to say it is,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
I can take no credit if this company succeeds or doesn't. I cannot take credit anywhere
yeah,
because it's so foundationally solid,
yeah,
that anything that we do, first of all, I'm a nobody that just
yeah,
knows somebody, right?
yeah,
And man, Jesus has his hand all over this company. So if it succeeds or wherever he takes it, I'm just glad to be a part of the ride. So
yeah,
as much as I'd like to say, like, fresh ideas and fresh concepts and like that, man, really, if God wants this thing to grow, it's going to grow. And I
yeah.
just want to just be the catalyst that helps move that train a little bit
Yeah,
further.
yeah, yeah. Well, I appreciate your humility, but it seems to me like talking to you that an excitement and enthusiasm of all it could be, and I think that speaks well of you as well.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that a ton. Thank you, Casey.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, man, it's been a joy talking to you. Hunter has been talking about you and mentioned meeting you and having lunch with you or something like that, and all that. So I was like trying to think about guests to have on the podcast, and I was like, I think I'll call him up and just have a conversation with him, get to know him a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I'm
look, I,
thankful
I
that you
appreciate
did
you
it.
reaching out. Yeah,
Yeah,
man. We love Hunter over at Duck Commander, and
yeah,
I don't know if we've ever officially met yet. I think this might be. the first time we've like met really. But man, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come on.
Yeah.
And if I can do anything for y'all, definitely let me know. And no, it's been a lot of fun. I appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you, man, and you just keep up the good work over there at Duck Commander, and I'll be looking for all that new stuff coming out and continued good content. I always like watching good stuff. Of course,